Things are not going good for BioWare and Dragon Age the Veilguard. A new rumor claims that pre-order sales in retail outlets are, quote, piss poor. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at the Trent Report. I wrote this up over at thatparkplace.com, and this rumor comes to us from a YouTuber, Dr. Disaster. If you aren't watching his videos, check it out. He's quite hilarious. I enjoy watching his videos. They are fun. But this is what he shared. I have an acquaintance in the retail world, someone who runs 9 stores that sells video games. And I'm hearing that these ratios that we're seeing in damn near every video release for Dragon Age the Veilguard, these ratios are correlating with piss poor pre-sales data. People are not connecting with the Veilguard because Dragon Age games are supposed to be dark and gritty, and this just looks completely soft. So that is what he had to say. I did reach out to Craig Skistimas, a.k.a. Stuttering Craig, who owns and hosts the Side Scrollers podcast channel, and he informed me and That Park Place that his retail source, who previously indicated that pre-order sales for both Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows, that pre-orders for Dragon Age the Veilguard are not Astrobot numbers. That is what Stuttering Craig's source relayed to him, which he relayed to me. So make of that what you will. Obviously, I think Astrobot did pretty solid numbers, was in the top 10 PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 games on True Trophies chart when it released. But not Astrobot numbers means it could be, it's below that, right? So who knows what exactly that means. And I don't think Astrobot is Black Myth Wukong or even Space Marine 2 levels, but potentially could be up there. But we do have some other data points to look at as well. As of this morning, the deluxe edition of Dragon Age the Veilguard was 14th on the PlayStation Store for pre-orders, while the base game was 20th. You can see it right there, just ahead of Eternum and Assassin's Creed Shadows, behind the Silent Hill 2 Deluxe Edition. And then you can see the base game there. It's also behind the Silent Hill 2 base game. It's also behind Mortal Kombat 1 and behind both versions of Eternum. And then obviously Assassin's Creed Shadows there. So that is where it's at on the PlayStation Store as far as pre-orders. We can look over here on the SteamDB most wishlisted upcoming Steam games. It is currently in 42nd place and has 59,441 followers. It sits behind games such as the Forever Winter Gothic 1 Remake, Mouse PI for Hire, and Arc Raiders. If you actually go over here and you to the Steam and you sort by top sellers, it is outside of the top 100. I didn't actually count after I got over 100. That's how far down it was. But you can see how it's by Project Zomboid, Starfield, Peglin, Crusader Kings 3 are all kind of around there. Crusader Kings 3 coming out in 2020. Peglin just coming out, I guess, last month. Starfield was from a year ago. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion from almost 2 years ago. So you can see where it is. Obviously, the game hasn't come out, but I don't think that's an excuse, because you can see here, you go to Dragon Ball and you'll see Sparking Zero. It's actually near the top. So Steam Deck is number 1. Space Marine 2 is second. Final Fantasy 16, which just dropped today, is third. And then you got the American Truck Simulator, etc. But you can see here that Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, which doesn't come out till October 10th, is right here in like the top 20 or so games. So just because it's not out doesn't mean it can't be at the top of the bestsellers list. Dragon Ball showing that there is massive interest in that game. But again, if you go to Veilguard, it's outside of the top 100. Not looking good whatsoever for that. And then, as noted by Dr. Disaster, his rumor does come in the wake of a hands-on preview of Dragon Age the Veilguard that was uploaded to IGN's YouTube channel. That video currently has 321,000 views, or at least it did when I wrote this earlier today. It has over 17,000 dislikes and just 11,000 likes. Again, obviously that's on IGN. It's not on the Dragon Age official stuff. But what's interesting, you compare that to Asmongold's roasting of that video. His video actually has 725,000 views. It has over 22,000 likes and just 836 dislikes. And he spends that entire video just roasting this game. I did cover that over here yesterday. Probably my favorite line from his roast was right here when he's talking about the Canari redesign. I mean, what did they do to these Canari? Seriously, we know what they did to them. They wanted to make them quote unquote transgender. That is exactly what they did. These are now self inserts for the game director who calls himself Corinne Bush. But this is what Asmongold said. He said, "Who thought it was a good idea to make a character look like that? How did you do this? How did this go past anybody? I don't even understand. This is insane." And then this is where he just absolutely hits a home run right here. He says, "I'm going to say something right now, and it's going to be super controversial. This looks worse than Concord." I have to agree. It looks absolutely worse than Concord. I mean, these Kunaris are absolutely atrocious looking. I mean, look at that. That is ugly. That is ugly. No one wants to play with ugly characters. And he says, "And I don't even think that it's close." He's 100% right. This is actually worse than Concord. 100% agree with Asmongold. These Canari redesigns are atrocious. They're ugly. They look nothing like the Canaris that they had previously introduced, which were badass warriors, not whatever these characters are now. I mean, look at this thing. This is an abomination. It might as well be something coming out of the dark spot. Like, this is what we're dealing with now. They're absolutely disgusting. So I don't think it's looking good for Dragon Age, the Veilguard. Lots of data points pointing to this being, or this game having very, very soft sales, similar to what we are seeing with Star Wars Outlaws, with Assassin's Creed Shadows. It is interesting. We have not gotten any updates on how well Star Wars Outlaws has performed from Ubisoft, and I think that their silence indicates that that game has had very bad sales. We're going to find out really shortly with their upcoming earnings report how poorly that game performed, because I think investors are going to be asking them some very, very tough questions about the state of their company, and might be seeing something similar happening with EA, why they have decided to go this route with one of their flagship franchises, why they have decided to basically self-immolate, because that is what they have done with Dragon Age. The Veilguard completely abandoned what made them successful in the first place by embracing woke ideology with these absolutely disgusting character designs for the Canari, their whole pansexual companions. All of this stuff is just, it just turns people off, and they just don't want to play this. And I think gamers are going to speak very loudly with their wallets being closed. But let me know what you guys make of this. Let me know in the comments below. Remember to always be charitable, especially to each other, but to always speak the truth and reject evil.